Hey guys, Triple H Guy 2004 back on YouTube. Coming back and giving you my quick thoughts on Monday Night Raw. It was okay. It came from, I believe, somewhere in North Carolina. The crowd really sucked. It really didn't bring anything to the show tonight. Last night, the production quality of it. But we did have the return of one of the most influential, most controversial characters in the world of professional wrestling. I'm, of course, talking about the one, the only, the original bad boy himself, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is a great mind in the world of professional wrestling. And yes, CM Punk is a Paul Heyman guy. If it wasn't for Paul Heyman, we wouldn't have CM Punk in the WWE, I believe. But, I believe Paul Heyman is a great mind that the WWE certainly needs somebody like Paul Heyman right now. I believe he can be good for the WWE if he sticks around. I'm hoping he sticks around, and he really needs to be. If Brock Lesnar is going to be around, he really needs to be his mouthpiece. But if you're a younger fan and you go, who the hell is Paul Heyman? Paul Heyman, of course, is not the original owner, but he is the one that brought it into its heyday. Of course, I'm talking about the original ECW. He's the one that pushed the envelope and brought the hardcore wrestling into people's living rooms. I remember watching ECW on the old TNN back when I first got cable. It was at like midnight. I wasn't supposed to be up, but I watched it, and I fell in love with stars like, the A-list stars went through ECW. You had Stone Cold went through there. Lita went through there. You had got ECW originals like Taz, Balls Mahoney, Ian and Axel Rotten, Sabu, RVD, whole slew of other people. Chris Candido went through there. I mean, you just had a slew of professional wrestlers that went through ECW. Paul Heyman made them all look like stars. And the crowds were crazy in Philadelphia. I mean, I remember watching old tapes of ECW, and fans would bring weapons. This wasn't staged. Fans would just do this on their own. That's pretty crazy. They would bring weapons for the wrestlers to use, and the wrestlers would use them during some of their fights, and it was crazy. And it was all because of, I believe, one man, Paul Heyman, had that vision. And Paul Heyman is a great mind and deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Definitely. And I believe it will happen this coming year in WrestleMania 29 when it emanates from New Jersey, New York area. And Paul Heyman, of course, is being from New York. I just think Paul Heyman is a great voice. I remember watching, even going as far as back as, I think I remember watching him on WCW programming as Paul E. Dangerously. He was a manager for, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin for a while. I can't remember anybody else that he really managed, but I remember seeing him on WCW back in the day at my grandparents'. I used to watch WCW, I don't know if it was Saturday night or whatever it was on TBS and whatever was on cable on Saturday night for WCW. I think it was WCW Saturday night. And I remember watching Paul Heyman and stars that he brought into this business and stars that he made in this business. Just, if you don't know, that's just a little history lesson of the ECW and Paul Heyman and what he has meant to this professional wrestling world. He's a great mind. He's a great writer. A lot of people might think he's an asshole and a rude prick, but he might be all those things, but he's a great mind. He is certainly better for this business than guys like Vince Russo. I think Paul Heyman has a lot more to offer the world of professional wrestling and has for many years than guys like Vince Russo. Vince Russo is a slimeball, and he had Vince McMahon saying, yeah, that's a good idea. But he also had Vince McMahon telling him, oh, that's a bad idea. And in WCW, Vince Russo didn't really have that guy to tell him no, and your ideas suck. They were all, oh, you're great, you came from the WWF, so you know what you're doing. Well, yeah, well, that's beside the point. So, Paul Heyman back in the WWE, we don't know how long this could have been a one-night thing. I'm hoping not. I hope he sticks around, and maybe Vince and him can work together and make the WWE a better product. It seems to be going on the right track, but it needs something. And maybe Paul Heyman is that one person that could just shake up what Vince... Maybe he can get Vince out of this funk of he needs to move on and stop doing some of the stuff he used to do because it's not working anymore. But, Paul, good luck. Hope you stay around for a while. Peace. Triple H Guy 2004 here on YouTube.